Hi everyone, we're here to show you Burnout Paradise. I'm Nimputs, I am here racing,
Trigger.
and with us commentating is...
I'm Dooty Doots. Hello everyone, how's it going?
Alright, so before we get into the run, just a really quick explanation of the category. It says Paradise cars only. That basically means we only use cars in this top category here that I've selected currently. All this other stuff was originally added as DLC, which kind of makes this into a New Game Plus run. So we're just doing the normal stuff that you unlock naturally through gameplay progression. Also, we will be both donating $1 for every crash. We have a counter here on our phones. So yeah, let's just jump in.
I have just noticed that our video feeds are swapped for our names.
Well. At least you notice now and not like an hour in.
10 minutes in.
Yeah, seems good now. Okay. Thank you. All right. I think we're ready to go.
Yep.
Dudes, you want to do the honors and count us in?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do I do? The button?
Don't press it right now.
I know, not yet, no. I got all... What we've used.
Okay.
Right. Go from 5. Right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, Burnout Paradise, for those who haven't ever seen it before, it's an open world racing game. To start off, what's the objective of the game? Well, you get given little licenses. The best way to describe a license is like a chapter in a book. To progress through the licenses, you have to do a certain amount of events and there's 4 different event types that we'll be doing. There's about 5 in the actual game, but one of them isn't viable, so we'll be doing the 4. We'll explain each one as we get to them. The first one to start off with is Road Rage. As you can see on the top left of the screen, you have to take down a certain amount of cars within the time limit. And there you go, look at that.
I got knocked completely off course on that one.
Yeah, the start of the run tends to be very messy, very RNG dependent, depending on what spawns you get. So this so far went pretty good for both of us. Oh, sort of. Just looked over at the screen. That's not where you're supposed to.
Oh, we'll die.
So, as I'm sure you could probably imagine, every time you do a road rage or just generally progress into the game, requirements get higher and higher. So you start off at 2, and we're now up to a monumental difference of 3 in total. There you go, there's a nice quick road rage by Mr. Puts. And it looks like Trigger's not too far behind by the looks of it.
Got a very lucky takedown there.
What we like.
Yeah, so the deal with this game is basically like right from the beginning, you have every single event unlocked. There's an event on every junction in the city. And yeah, so it's basically for the early game especially, you just pick the quickest events that are available, which in this case is just doing 3 road rages back to back, and then for the remainder of the run we barely don't do any road rages anymore because they just get so inconsistent as the target requirement gets higher.
You may have just noticed there that Nimputs use the restart button. So it's the way that when you do an event is you can't just do it over and over and over again to complete your licenses. You have to do a different one until you get a new license, and then the races reset. So after you complete one license, you can restart and do the same event, but because it's on a new license, the events have been cleared, and you can do it again to count towards your new license that you just got.
That was like the best third road rage of my life. Wow.
So far.
So far. So yeah, these events like road rages right now, and also stunt runs, which we get to later, they are non-linear, which means they have a start point like any event at a junction, but then you can take them anywhere you want. So we're just using like these road rages basically to get to the start of the next event on each one. So I'm here now, like I took the road rage already in the direction of the next event I was planning to go to, so I'm just finishing the travel now pretty much.
The Nakamura SI-7 is now cruising around Paradise City.
You may notice that as they progress through the licenses, or just the game in general, that you will get a pop-up telling you that more cars are available, although it's not as simple as just going to just picking it up from the junkyard. You have to take it down, which does take a while, because not only do you have to find the car in the open world, which can take any amount of time really, you then have to go pick it up again, which is another cutscene, and the time gained from having a faster car isn't necessarily better than the time you lose from going to go pick it up. And if you were to imagine that each of the license was like a car performance category, like D license, C license, B license, and so on, the cars that you get just from completing the license are more than plenty to actually get through the game without any trouble. Yeah. Usually, anyway.
I'm just confused at what the AI is doing on my game.
Having a good time while I look
Yeah.
at things.
So I just had the first race, so basically straightforward point A to point B, a race as you can imagine. Still, I want to emphasize this game is permanently open world, so even events that have a clear start and finish point, they have no barriers that set you into a specific route in between, so you can take any route you want. In case of that first racer, which just like down one road, so there's not really much you can do anyways, but later on we'll be taking like a couple of shortcuts diagonally through the city pretty much. And here we have the first stunt run, which again the point requirement is super low right now, so all I have to do is take like these 2 jumps straight down the road, and now I'll drop my car into the river, and that's my first crash also. I have to unlock my phone to use the counter. Oh, there we go. And yeah, we are 7 times the required point requirement already on the first stunt, so yeah, that's quite a joke. This is early on, but they later as you get further into the game, they become like the most, probably like the biggest run killer to do consistently. Yeah, and now we have our final new event type that we're gonna see during this run. This is a marked man, which is kind of like a race, so from point A to point B, but instead of having to get to the goal before the AI, you have like, where are they? There they are, the threatening, angry sounding cars here around me. They try to kill me, and I have to basically just get to the end without dying. That's basically the idea. So
Often easier said than done.
yeah. That's also like very kind of luck dependent, because like sometimes they are very docile and just kind of stay away from you, like they seem to be doing the majority of this event so far, but like sometimes they also just like completely just wipe the floor with you and you can't really do anything. Yeah, this was, I barely seen a single one during this entire thing. Alright.
I believe sometimes also referred to as sharks, which
Yeah.
has always been
Yeah.
kind of confusing to me, because last I checked, sharks don't have wheels or are made of carbon fibre. But what do I know? I guess I haven't been out in the ocean enough.
I generally don't know where even the name came from. I don't think that's the official name the game gave them. But
No.
we just call them like that for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't think the game gives any name for them, do they?
Yeah,
It's
that-
just...
I mean, in the game, they are like a Bolt Hunter civilian. So that's
Yeah.
the car
That's
name.
the car, yeah.
But like, you can also unlock that car later on, but it doesn't. That's not relevant for their role in marksman events. Okay, once again taking a stunt run again now with 10,000 point requirement. Slightly harder, but still I only have to do 1 jump ideally, unless the jump goes horribly wrong. Oh, looks good. There it is. 12,000, easy.
Yeah, this doing stunt runs is great if you want to check up on your maths and you're not sure how good you are. When I do some stunt runs, sometimes I will lose them purely because I don't add it up properly, and I have a lower amount than I thought I had. So
Yeah, if you want to practice your like in-head multiplication, this is a good game to speedrun because it forces you to do a lot of on-the-spot multiplying.
And they say games aren't educational. What do
Yeah.
they know?
They should let preschoolers speedrun this game.
We could always do with more people on the leaderboards, so yeah.
Yeah.
If there's any aspiring preschoolers out there who want a speedrun, this is for you.
The Krieger Pioneer is now on the streets of Paradise City. If you see it, shut it down to add it to your car collection.
So yeah, especially during the early game, like with how, like Dudes mentioned earlier, but you have these licenses that progress in difficulty and demands. So the early licenses have a very low amount of races or events that you need to complete for them. So for the early licenses, it's very easy to just pick the fastest couple events and complete them. And then on the next license, you can do that series of events again. So you have like basically like a pattern of a couple of particular events during the beginning of the run that you see like 2 or 3 times. So this is basically one of them, like this event right now that I just did called Plain Sailing, together with the stunt run that I'm about to do called Unconventional. This is just one of the typical patterns that shows up, but the further we get into the game, the more new events that also take different routes we have to introduce. So yeah.
You may notice as well that during the races, they may sometimes, if they're going around a certain corner, they may try and spin their car or try and make the car go in a certain way during the, let's call it a cutscene at the end. That's because you're trying to get your car in a certain direction when you gain control again, because sometimes the game likes to decide where you actually want to go.
Yeah, that's like actually like a really important aspect about optimizing this game, is like how you finish each event, because anytime you finish an event, you want to keep in mind what the next event is and where it's located relative to you. So if, for example, you cross the finish line, but the event is behind you and you cross the finish line at full speed, you're just gonna, during the race result cutscene, you're just gonna go all the way through and just have to drive all the way back. So a lot of times you see us like do a U-turn over the finish line, or like take a right turn on a junction over a finish line to just get to the next event quicker. And sometimes you can like actually significantly cut down travel time like this between events.
The crash that Nimputs did a minute ago, and Trigger is actually currently in the process of watching. It may sound like I'm making it up, but it's actually intentional. I'm not just covering for them, as much as it might sound like I am. But if you just crash into something, it ends your combo and just ends the event quicker, rather than just sitting there and waiting, because if you accidentally start like a drift or you boost a little bit, you then have to wait for the countdown to go through again, which may take a while. An example of the junkyard cutscenes are here, because for some reason the game, I don't know, someone must have spent a lot of time on the cutscene where the car falls from the sky and they want you to see it every single time you get the new car. So you have to look at these lovely pretty cars and maybe read the description as it goes past before you can actually select the car again. So as you can see, just from getting this car there, that's quite a lot of time lost if you were to pick up every new car that you unlock. Even if you like the way it looks, it may not be fast enough to pick it up.
Most likely isn't.
Although, luckily for me, this is probably one of my favorite cars in the game anyway, so... is that gonna... There you go, yeah. Sometimes, there's like a respawn timer, wasn't there? A bit of a timer.
Yeah, we call it lockout time. It's kind of like a weird thing that the game does for reasons we can't really figure out. So like at the beginning of a license, the first event you actually drive to, it takes like 15-20 seconds for you to let you enter the event, but only like the first you actually drive to. If you end the license like while you're already on an event, you can immediately start it, but as soon as you go off that event and drive to your next one, yeah, you have like this like 15-20 second lockout timer ticking down, and it's really weird. I don't know why it happens, but it minorly affects our routing at the beginning of new licenses. Because sometimes, like, you know, we go kind of slow on purpose to build up boost for the next event, because we know we have to wait anyways. to be able to enter the next event.
A thing to mention here is you might have seen Nimputs doing it, and I imagine Trigger's been doing it as well, is snaking, which is kind of, you know, like a snake down the road, funnily enough, that's why it's called that. You may be wondering why that is. It doesn't actually add, like, it doesn't give you extra top speed necessarily. It just keeps your boost bar up, because the car that they're driving, so there's 3 different stunt types in the game. There's a speed type car, which if you played any classic Burnout games, is, well, you get the boost by going fast, and then once it runs out, if you're going quick enough, it starts up again, and you can chain it. There's stunt type, which is the green one they're using now, and as you can see, whenever they do stunts, it puts the boost back up. For me personally, when I'm playing this casually, I tend to use these ones just because you're spinning around and stuff, it gives you extra speed. There's also aggression, which, as I'm sure you can probably guess from the name, you tend to get boosts from being, well, you know, aggressive, which is great for Marked Man or Road Rage events, but it's just no need to use it in the speedrun. And as you can see there, he's got way more points than needed, but there's no penalty for having too many points. Luckily. Otherwise that would make the speedrun rather annoying. So the return of the Marked Man events. So if any of you like the carbon fiber wheeled sharks, here they are again. Let's see how friendly they're going to be this time. I have a feeling they're probably not going to be as friendly. Oh, no, there he is immediately.
Slight nudge. Yeah, if there's anything you want to read, Poker, maybe, then that would be a good time, I guess.
Of course I do. I have an insane $250 donation from a user by the name of Demo is better than both of you. And that user says $1 more for each minute the winner is off my world record. Thank you. And that all of that insane $250 donation goes to the DuckTales any % incentive to upgrade to difficult mode, which is now at $410 out of 2,000. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Demo. Yeah, Demo is the current world record holder of this category. He has a different route. Demo is like particularly good at like chaining together stunt runs very efficiently in a way that is much riskier than what we do. Our route is like more based on consistency and going in the long run, but Demo really makes a lot of use of you know, like getting like all the stunts chained together, because as I said, stunt runs do have variable routes, so you can use them very efficiently for routing. And yeah, if you check out Demo's run, he does quite a different route than us, and it saves especially a lot of time in the early game.
So if it's money per minute off, then I hope everyone's ready for a nice 12-hour Burnout Paradise run.
Yeah, I hope you have some saved, Demo.
Have we mentioned our little tap counter?
I have at the beginning, but feel free to bring it up again.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so we're donating $1 for every crash that we have throughout the run. We've both got a little counter on our table that we're keeping track of everything. That's intentional or unintentional.
Yeah. Although if you ask him, every crash is intentional.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I think so far, actually, it was.
Mine aren't.
For the record, yeah, every crash is intentional. You may notice as they're driving that there's indicators. This is just a way for like if you're not very good at the game, like me for example, it's kind of a game trying to guide you towards a route that lets you complete the event if you're not entirely sure where you're going. So it's kind of a game mechanic, but it's not really anything that's too crazy. It's certainly nothing we use during the speedrun anyway.
Yeah, it's basically like a built-in navigation system that kind of automatically happens for like new players that you can, you know, either just follow or you can just ignore like we just do. Oh, that was horrible cornering. But yeah, you can either like look at the top of the screen where you see the road signs, you see them flashing up when the game wants you to take a corner, or you can look just like, as Dude said, the indicators like on the back of the car. You can follow those and it usually leads you pretty safely to the goal, but not the fastest route. For the fastest route, you actually gotta, know the map pretty well.
Yeah, because the best thing you want to be staring at as you go 200 miles an hour is some funny yellow blinking lights, of course. So that is one of the kind of like, I'd say, unique race events in that it's a 1v1 race. That can be quite annoying sometimes because they tend to be kind of difficult, I guess, to speedrun, or if you crash a few times, it can be quite annoying to catch up in those ones.
Yeah, that's like, it's kind of like a hidden extra event type. They're on the map, they're just labeled as races, but there's like a couple races that are just like 1v1 races, and you just basically race against an opponent who has the same car as you, and they tend to be on like very short tracks, and the AI tends to be quite strong on these. So like any crash that might happen during it like is a significant risk to losing the event, so you have to be really careful on these. So this is gonna be the last road rage we will be doing in the run.
Yeah, so as you can see, sometimes it can take a little bit of time just to get a takedown, but that was pretty quick, to be honest.
Yeah, I've got good spawns. Like sometimes you get really unlucky and you just like get like completely ghost town around you and you just have to wait. But this went pretty well.
Especially after a crash, because obviously you're not going as quick as you were before. It can be kind of a pain to catch up to the AI or wait for the AI to catch up to you again. I'm not sure what AI card is in the background of your one. It's just trying to get in the shot about. Yeah, so sometimes when you respawn an event, you might have just seen that for some reason him there was in the air for a little minute, as that's not anything we can control or something we want to happen. It's just sometimes the game decides to do that. I don't think we actually know why. It just, I don't know. Oof.
It can drop you from some serious height sometimes.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it before. I think you had it one time when it drops you pretty high up.
It dropped me like 100 meters above the beach.
Maybe the game thought, you know what, they put a lot of time and effort into making this world and you're barely seeing it, so I'm going to slow you down, put you nice and high up, give you a bit of sightseeing. How nice of it. So this bridge here is probably one of the best places, well, depending on where you're on the map, for stunt runs. As you can see, he's only really just started it and he's already got 12,000 of an 8x multiplier. Stunt runs, especially later on, tend to take place in some of the same locations. That bridge tends to come up a lot, and so does the beach, just because they're locations where there's quite a few things you can do to get up your multiplier without having to go that far.
Yeah, that's like actually one of like the big things that have changed in the route over time, because it used to be a lot like you had stunt runs around like specific locations, so either the beach around where you start the run or the bridge that I just went over, and then every time you did the stunt run you just went to either one of these two locations and then just found points there. But in recent years, especially also a lot again from demos routing, a lot of stunt runs got a lot more, pointed towards a specific goal location, actually using them for routing to get somewhere. So there's not too much of that right now. I used the last one a little bit there to get to this event. But yeah, later in the game there's more like stunt runs that, actually like go a specific route, like across the city, more like a race event that we try to follow. Yeah.
We notice as well, sometimes in stunt runs, even when we have the points required, and I said earlier they tend to crash to stop it, but if you've got a full boost bar and you're already going pretty quick, then you may as well just use the speed that you already have to drive to the event rather than potentially, if it's not useful, crashing, which obviously loads your speed, funny enough, and you might not have any boost. So rather than stopping, then driving to the event, because you need to stop at the event anyway, you may as well use the stop that you have to do at the event. So then you're already there at the event, you're not moving or anything.
Yeah, I did that like on the previous stunt run. I did basically just, instead of crashing the car, because I had like a little bit of distance to drive, yeah, basically just let the combo timer run out during that time, and then I can skip the crash cutscene, which is a bit faster than, you know, even if you don't use the boost during that time, it's a bit faster than watching extra crash cutscene.
Tap count is getting a lot of use today so far.
I don't have to. That's not good.
Yeah, so as you can see, if you crash during a stunt run, it could be a right pain in the rear end because you've got no boost, so you have to go back and get it to be able to reach the speed to actually pick up anything. And some of the respawns the game gives you can be absolutely disastrous because they might put you right at the start of the ramp, but you've got no hope in making.
Yep.
So you'll have to go back anyway. An example kind of being there.
Yeah, luckily in this case I crashed before I had built up any multiplier, so it was pretty easy to back up, but sometimes like when you crash like mid-stunt run and you lose your multiplier, that can be like a massive time loss to like a straight up run killer very easily.
Yeah, especially if you try and go along a certain route in a stunt run, as you've seen now, you went over the 2 jumps for the billboards and then on the beach. If you crash after the billboards, you've already lost quite a bit of potential for your multipliers, so you'd either have to find somewhere else to get them or go back and do them again, which, yeah, isn't the most efficient way of speedrunning, I must say. Here's an example of crashing on purpose there. He's right where the race is, so you didn't have to go anywhere, and, well, as you can see, the race has started again. So looking at the race between the 2 of them, not in game, it seems to be pretty decently close. You might think that it's quite easy to pull out a lead. It can be, potentially, but also because this game loves taking its time to show you what happens during a crash, you can easily lose quite a few seconds just from a single crash, and if you crash multiple times, it adds up quite a lot. So one person may have quite a lead already. Potentially, it doesn't look that way so far, but things can easily swap quite quickly, as you had in the practice runs. I believe they swapped quite a bit.
Yeah.
So short period of time just from crashing.
All right, now I went. I've done this event a couple times before. Usually, I always like handbrake over the finish line. This time, however, I'm doing a different event, which is like the next junction going forward, so I just went full speed over, and ideally that should put me instantly on that next junction. Yeah, perfect.
Nice.
I think I'm going to be a little short.
Look out for the Rossellini LM Classic driving around the streets.
Oh, yeah, we did like a practice race the other day, which after, you know, nearly 1.5 hours ended up 22 seconds apart, so decent potential here for close races, but this game tends to get more volatile the longer it goes, so we'll see how that goes.
Especially in the later licenses where you've got quite a light, drifty car that goes pretty quick. It can be quite easy to get messed up going around the corner or something. Here's another, albeit short example of snaking. It's a small thing, but it can easily add up, especially in these stunt type boost cars where there's potentially not a lot of chances to get more boost, but having just boost does add quite a bit to your top speed, so you want to be boosting basically all the time.
Yeah, also like there's a lot of ramps around everywhere, but like anytime you're not on the ground, you're not accelerating, so you generally want to avoid jumping when you can. So instead, like, you can just snake a lot.
Especially as sometimes this game likes to make you crash. You might think you've landed perfectly fine, but you'll land and then there's a fence there you might not have seen, and you're crashed.
Yeah, usually the fences break when you drive into them, but sometimes you break, because the game is funny like that.
the game, as I said before, to people before, this game in some aspects is quite well, like, decently explained. We know how things work, and then other things just don't make any sense. Signal not making any sense. There's another crash there. Oh, okay, that's a drive away apparently. That's a pretty resilient car. I will give it that. It's a tough old bird, that car, it seems.
So yeah, once again, I'm gonna explain again, like, I guess, like, the category that we're doing. So dude's already explained, like, what the different licenses are, basically, like, chapters throughout the game. We've picked, we're doing, for this race, doing A license, which is the 4th license you get in the game. Everyone obviously gets, well, each of them obviously get progressively longer, and the A license run is about lengthwise half of a Burnout license run, and Burnout license is basically the any % equivalent in this game. Yeah, A license is just basically, it's still like basically gives you most of what this game has going on as a speed game, but it's like, you know, it's a bit more compact of a run, because like Burnout license you have to account for like 2.5 hours. So the A license is just a bit nicer for a marathon showing. It's just a bit more condensed.
Yeah, as you go further on, the licenses do get quite long. Like the one you had at the start was 2 events, and I believe the last one is something like 120, because I want you to do every event you can possibly do.
Yeah.
Which, as you can imagine, takes quite a while. Or if you want to do the elite license, that's what, 10 hours or so, isn't it?
I'm aware of the pain.
Yeah, Trigger's done elite license, so that's quite a long run.
Multiple times, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I much prefer it on Remastered because they lowered the takedown requirements for the road rages, which cut the time down by like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, on the original game, the you know, as the road rages get longer and longer, the target caps out at 40, which you take like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes doing a single road rage. And it's just miserable grinding all these out if you're doing like the full game completion. But on Remastered, it's lowered to 20, which is very nice. That also kind of leads us into just, you know, I guess we can like talk here about. Thank you. We can talk about different, like the differences between the 2 main versions of the game. So there's Burnout Paradise Original or Burnout Paradise Ultimate Box. Which, you know, either like the just Burnout Paradise with no subtitle, I think was only released on console. When they released it on PC, it was already Ultimate Box, which has some stuff added to it, and then later down the line they released more DLC for it. And then there's Remastered, which came out 10 years later, which has everything included by default, and yeah, so the differences are like, as we've just mentioned, the road rage requirement, so that wait.
I missed an event somewhere. What did I not do?
Me too. I'm in trouble.
Well, if you both missed an event, I guess it's not too bad rather than just one of them missed.
Yeah, I mean we're even, but I don't know what happened.
Now I'm gonna do coast to coast.
Yeah, that's a good call.
A good thing here to mention, is the differences between the game. When you open up the free drive menu, which is on the right D-pad, in the original game, you have the option of cancel and restart the event. I believe in the original one, pressing cancel just gets the menu off your screen, but in the remaster, they changed it so that pressing cancel cancels the event. Which, as you can see, is quite useful, but I'm not really sure why they changed it, but yeah.
So like about the routing mishap that apparently just happened, we have a route printed out right here that we're reading off of. We're usually used to just running off our splits, so it automatically, like we have an auto splitter that Trigger made, so it automatically progresses what event we're on, and apparently a sheet of paper doesn't automatically progress. I don't know what just went wrong there, and it's very peculiar that we've both had the same mistake. I have no clue what happened. I have to watch this run back because I'm dumbfounded. But I don't know. I guess that's just what happens when you use paper instead of live split.
Should have used magic paper.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good call from you, Trigger, to do coast to coast as backup, because it basically has the same same route that the event there was gonna do anyways. So
yeah, we use coast to coast in a license, so just swap that later for Mayday Mayday and restart this one.
Yeah, what an awkward turn of events.
Would we have a second for a quick message to cheer you up? I would just like to remind everyone that you have some amazing incentives to choose from when donating to Alzheimerfonden, and right now we are...
Wait, we're still one behind. We missed 2?
What?
Oh, that's even better. Right now, we are working on getting the elevator skip showcase for new Super Mario Bros. U, and that is currently
quick to do
at
from here?
$495
Lighthouse Rock.
out of the 1,500 we need to see that, and this run is coming up next. So get your donations in for that, and we will see it in just about an hour. Thank you.
What happened?
I don't know. We must have like both skipped like the same 2 events, like somewhere on the list.
I know what it is. We did Club Sandwich and went straight to Hang 10 instead of doing Curveball Rat Race.
Oh yeah, right. That makes. Oh yeah, thank you. That is so weird, man. That's the first time that happened. But I guess you get to see more road rage now, so that's fun. I'm glad it happened to both of us, because that would have been so awkward if I had to do this alone. Okay, so now we can actually go to A license. That's what happens when you get up at 5 AM to do your speedrun.
Just the magic of Burnout. You never know what you're gonna get when you load the game up.
All right, now we get this car, the fastback, which is Boost mentioned the different boost types earlier. This is a speed type speed type boost car. A lot of words that chain awkwardly together. So the speed type boost is basically made to be constantly boosting. We are already trying to constantly boost, but this boost type helps us massively in doing that, because anytime you use up a full boost bar in one go, it gives you like a bonus for boost for the next bar by that already fills up the bar by like 2/3. So if you do like anything minor, like doing a little bit of oncoming traffic or like some minor jump or near misses or anything, you're already good with the next boost bar. The downside to that is that this boost is not accessible at any time, so you can only start the boost with this car if the boost bar is full. So you might see us like in this situation just like try to build up boost and then boost basically.
Yeah, as you see, they stop boosting for a moment, and then he has to build it back up again before he can use it again. I want to mention we haven't actually seen it yet, but sometimes it is like a kind of glitch where from the spinniness that the game gives you from doing the donuts for the speedrun can stay on your car, as Trigger is very well knows that quite well at this point. So yeah, rather than just going in a straight line, it kind of like swerves all over the place, as if they've put like banana peels under your car. I'm not entirely sure why it happens. It just kind of gives you the like whatever the game uses to make you spin that much in the speedrun, in the speedrun. It's a speedrun, but in the stunt run cutscene type thing.
I don't know. It's never happened to me. That seems to be a trigger problem. I don't know.
No, it's because I try and cancel a restart like way too early.
See, you're cheating, and that's what you get. The game knows.
Right, so because Mayday Mayday is the one we restart A license with, rather than go straight and pick up the fastback like Nim did, I've just redone the same event that I was doing before, so I've done extra road rage.
and you can see already with the stunt runs a target score of 75,000, and we're about half an hour in, and at the start it was what, like 5,000?
Yeah, the first one's 5K.
And thanks, Trigger, that you mentioned that, because that reminds me, I also didn't restart any event as I was supposed to do at the beginning of the license. I have to go back at the end and this is such a mess. I have to go back at the end.
That car went for you.
Quick rerouting on the fly.
Yeah.
That's another one for the tap counter.
I have to go back at the end and add in an extra event. I already know what I'm going to do.
When did I take the SI7?
This is such a mess.
It's not a mess. As he said, it's live rerouting. All intentional, everyone, I assure you. Okay, good. I was slightly worried you're going to crash there, then. I just covered up for you, made it seem like it's all intentional, and you're about to crash.
Nah, I would never make a mistake. Don't worry about it. Never happened before.
Let's say if that traffic car crashed into you, I never knew the citizens of Paradise City were quite so charitable. They must know the incentive you've got going on.
So yeah, you might be worried about like all the dangerous driving this game is promoting, but don't worry, because every single car is empty. The cars are magic and or haunted or self-driving. And whenever
Hey, it's Big Mary.
yeah, that's his favorite joke about this game.
I don't know why, it just cracks me up every time I see that car now.
But yeah, anytime you see like the door of the car fly off or something, you can look into. You can't see it right now, but there's no driver in any of the cars, so there's no humans were harmed during the making of the speedrun. Unless maybe us, but
yeah, unless you
fine.
count these two.
I signed up for this, so it's good.
Here's the old carbon fiber land sharks again. Oh, okay. You seem to have gone through the barrier. Wow, these cars are tough. Unless, of course, you look at them sometimes in a funny way, and then they'll just explode. Right. Good idea. Go through the auto repair.
Yeah.
So the marked man events, I don't know if you quite explained it, but you might be thinking, well, why does it matter if you crash? You can just go on forever, but not so quick for devs ahead of you there. Yeah, but same as in road rage events as well, I believe. Depending on the stat of your car, you will have a certain amount of like hits that you can take before it's game over. It's one of the 3 stats where it was speed, boost, and strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The speed stat basically doesn't matter because it doesn't apply when you're boosting, and you're always boosting. So the only thing that matters is boost and strength. Yes, strength basically determines just how many hits you can take in a markman or road rage and still survive to the end.
So you could kind of make a good guess on what strength value a car will have just by looking at it. Like if you look at this muscle car, for example, I think it's got a pretty decent.
All right.
Yeah, it's got a pretty decent strength value. Whereas if you were to drive the car we saw a minute ago, the old 1930s gangster-looking car. Actually, I don't know. That's kind of a bad example.
I think that is a bad example. I think that car is really strong. It's like supposed to be like a kind of mafia movie gangster car thing. That's what it's referring to, I believe. So I think that one actually has a really strong strength stat.
If you were to take, I guess, when one of the cars you might get at the start of the game, like the 2-door sports cars you might have seen, they tend to not be quite as strong, shockingly, because they're about 30 centimeters long. So another genuinely intentional crash there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I might have to go back through the vault again and recount my crashes just to be sure, but I think I got everything so far.
I like the placement of the stop sign that's right next to your crashed car. That was poetry in motion, I think, I've ever seen. Yeah, you might notice just I just looked over a trigger screen and it appears as though one of the sharks had crashed into something itself. The AI likes doing that. Its main objective in these events is to try and take you down, but sometimes they just like going in a different way or just crashing into things. Like I think there's one of the is this the race or one of the races in this area, I believe? You start off and quite often you'll see just an AI car crash into something.
You just like immediately smack into the first wall it can find, like right next to you. Sometimes it blocks your way, it's quite funny.
Of course, the cars are haunted, so that must be why the ghosts can't see so well. The game doesn't actually tell you the lore of this game, funnily enough, since it's just a driving game, but it's just funny to make up examples, I guess, like haunted cars or more control cars.
Whatever you can imagine about this game is true.
That's right, yeah.
All your Burnout Paradise fan fictions are canon.
So, as you see on the screen, the burning route has come up for, was it, the Hunter Manhattan, I believe it's called. So each car in this game has an upgraded variant, which tends to just give it better stats. And you might think, well, why don't you do those events? Well, they tend to put you somewhere out in the middle of nowhere if they want to. And they can take quite a while to do, because then you have to get the car and pick it up from the garage and watch the stupidly long cutscene of the car falling from the sky, etc. So, as I explained earlier, getting a car from the junkyard every time you get a new one isn't necessarily the best idea. And to be honest, the stat differences that you get from the upgraded cars, I don't think are that amazing. Although even if they are, it's just not worth getting them. You're better off just staying as the car you are.
There's some that are slightly faster, but some that are also slower. It's like a lot of times just mostly like a visual upgrade.
Yeah.
Like a completion kind of thing. It's about 50-50 if you actually get an upgrade or not. So something important to note about the routing of this game is you obviously want to pick events that are quick, but because this game has no quick travel, so you have to actually drive everywhere. What is equally as important as the event, as the length of the actual event, is like where it's located in the map. And this is a pretty good example because I'm about to do an event that is super short, but is in quite of an awkward place. So it's a bit tricky to route into the map, into the run efficiently. So the optimal way to do it, which is also what Demo's route does, is use a stunt run to get there. But I already used the stunt run for something else, so I'm just driving here now. So yeah, this is Strikeout. This is like one of the shortest events. It's also one of the most dangerous ones. This one's kind of notorious for like managing to completely smack you over the head within like 10 seconds of you starting it. As we'll see, I actually got the early turnaround here. There's always some little bit of variation how far you drive during the intro cutscene. So if you have like a marked man, with a rolling start, where you have to take like an early turn or something. Sometimes you can make it, sometimes not, and you just have to react to where the start cutscene puts you. I believe it's dependent on frame rate and such, but apparently if that is so, the frame rate varies, because I've had runs where I do an event multiple times, and like the one time it works and the next time it doesn't, so I'm not really sure what's going on.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Kind of describes quite a lot of these.
Yeah.
What can you say? Play Burnout, it's not the same thing every time. They'll put you where you want to go, sometimes they put you not where you want to go, which can be quite annoying, especially on the respawns after events, because if you're trying to go like upwards, the game might go, you know what, now you're going to go left. So you either have to keep going left and find a way to go back to where you're going, or just do a quick turnaround. I would like to say during these speedruns, there's not really much downtime when you're actually doing them. I mean, okay, yeah, you get the small cutscenes, but there's not necessarily like a loading screen and going into a different level usually. I think the longest downtime you might get is the junkyard, but that's not exactly enough time to have a proper break. So
yeah,
if you're a madman, like a certain someone who wants to do the 10-hour one, I hope you're well prepared and wearing your comfy slippers, because you do not get any time really at all to go for a break.
Yeah, the downtime you get is like just barely enough to take a drink of water, which is good, stay hydrated, but it is like not really enough to do anything else.
Stay hydrated, folks, whether we're playing Burnout or not.
Oh,
Look at that lovely bit of health messaging while I'm here.
oh man, I muscle memoried along the normal route. I was gonna do the cool route for this. I'm sad now.
Yeah.
That was like a cool route, like on a ramp up onto the highway that I forgot to do.
Oh, you can make up those sick ramps in the middle of the jump. Yeah.
But no, those actually slow you down. I'm trying to go fast.
Oh, we need style points more than anything.
And I've already went over those ramps. It's nothing new anymore. It's cool highway route or nothing.
I heard something about health messaging there, and I would say this is a good time to remind our viewers that we are raising money for Alzheimer Fund, which is the national Swedish fundraising organization focusing on Alzheimer's disease and other dementia-related diseases. Yearly, Alzheimer's Fund and Science Council and Board of Directors grant scientists, researchers and projects around $3 million. With your help, even more projects can be funded. We have raised over $25,000 this event. All of your money goes directly to Alzheimer Fund. You can support by donating, cheering, subscribing to the ESA channel, or buying t-shirts at speedrun.store. All of the money from these go into Alzheimer Fund. Thank you very much for all of your donations so far, and keep them coming.
That's a kind of a close one. Put that one up. Yeah, so as you can see there, he's just gone along the bridge. Nearly has a 10-time multiplier already. You may be thinking, well, why didn't they do the same jump over and over again? The game will actually punish you if you do, I think it's more than, I want to say twice, it might even be once if you do the same super jump. The game goes, nope, too stale. It generally says it's stale, and they have to find something else.
Yeah,
I guess it's good.
You can't reuse the same ramp over and over. I think you still get base points for like airtime and such, but you can't get a multiplier again on the same ramp. And multiplayer is what we mainly care for. So
yeah, the multiplier is the main chunk, as it were. There you go. Immediately stunt run straight into a race there. That's the stringing of events, I guess. I don't know what you'd call it, but putting the events together. Yeah.
That was again a situation where I let my combo run out rather than crashing. I'm not trying to save money, it's just, it's actually faster.
Yeah, any excuse though. You might have seen at the start of the race where one AI immediately went to take out another one. The AI, sometimes, as you might see on the map, every now and again the little red triangles will disappear. I mean, okay, admittedly the mini-map doesn't show you much, but unlike other games, like the old Need for Speed games, there's not really too much in the way of rubber banding, I'd like to say, but I could be wrong.
I don't actually know from the top of my head. I don't usually look at the AI very much, if I'm being honest.
Well, if there is, you don't need to worry about it too much, because you're never really close anyway.
Yeah, ideally.
Ideally, yeah.
Stunts and rack up the multiplier to beat the target score.
I would like to mention kind of a thing that people have spotted when they show the licenses. Every time you upgrade it, they get less and less crumpled, which I find kind of funny, because when you start off, it looks like it's just been in someone's back pocket for years, but when you get the best one at the end of the game, it's all nice and shiny, it's probably been laminated, freshly printed, but at the start, no one really cares apparently.
Yeah, they just give you like a crumpled up one they had lying around at the beginning.
Probably not even plastic, it's probably just a bit of paper they took out of the paper, scribbled on it.
Used as a coaster for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, you might have seen that he slowed down a little bit there over the jump. As you can see, the walls aren't too far away from the jump. It can be quite easy just to go over the ramp, think you're fine, and then just go really quickly into the wall, and bam, there you go. Multiplier's gone.
Yeah, those ramps are particularly notorious because they do have like this little bump in front of them that can very easily set your car up to just like, when it lands, just like bonk to the side, and then you just smack into the containers, and then you lose a lot of time. So we always tend to like slow down a lot on these particular ramps because they they kill a lot of runs otherwise. They're quite annoying.
Especially barrel rolls, you'll notice that he's just done a barrel roll there, but they more often than not try and stay away from doing them. Because of a flat spin, no matter how you land, you're probably going to be okay. But with a barrel roll, sometimes even if you're going quite quickly, the game will just, I don't know, it just decides that it's not giving it to you, and it'll just kind of go, meh. And then you land upside down, you crash, multiplier's gone again.
You can steer in the opposite direction to a barrel roll to cancel it out after the first one, but sometimes the game will do like 1.5 rolls and then stop you.
Yeah. The game works in mysterious ways.
It does.
The game works?
Sometimes the game itself is another member of the AI trying to take you down. As you can see, sometimes from wherever traffic spawns, or as you've seen a few times already, will just turn into you. Although, I guess you are driving rather recklessly, so I guess you can't complain too much about it, but,
Yeah.
you know, don't have to be so rude about it, do you?
So yeah, if anyone's interested in picking this game up as a speed game, you might be intimidated by like, you know, learning like all the routes and such. It is actually pretty simple to get into, especially when you consider that every individual license we have as its own category. So you can start out with like the really short licenses, like D license is like under 2 minutes, C license is like 10 minutes and such. So these are very easy to learn for the routes. And hold up, which isn't that on? Okay.
Yeah.
We have on speedrun.com we have route maps, basically maps of the city and just with numbered junctions. So you can just follow those along. We don't use them anymore. We just follow by the event names because we've done this a lot, so we know which event is where. So we don't need the maps anymore. So when we do runs at home, we just follow live split from the event splits. But as a new runner, you can, if you have a second monitor especially, then it's particularly comfortable to just put up the map on the second monitor and just follow that along. So a pretty comfy game to get into, especially if this is a game you like to play casually anyways a lot, so then it's pretty simple to get into.
Yeah, I picked it up and I didn't necessarily need to learn too much. I just had enough, just any really casual experience, even just play the game a little bit. Because quite a lot of the game, there's not really like much tech or there's like big skips or anything that you have to try and do. It's basically just play the game quickly. And if you've got a second monitor or a second screen, you know, be it a phone, on a laptop, your grandma's iPad maybe, if you need to get desperate, then all you gotta do is open up the route images and just follow what they say. As he said, they're all numbered. So, ooh, that was a double whammy.
I have not had a crash in a while, so I had to unlock my phone again. So that's nice.
That's an interesting way of bragging.
But yeah, back when I got into running this game, it was initially just like, kind of like on a whim, like, oh, I'm just gonna learn like one of the super short categories as a meme. I like never had any intention of like actually like doing the full game, but you know, as I did the short categories, I eventually like got bored of like the relatively slow early game, and I sort of got into the rhythm of running this game, and I just you know, step by step added more and more to it, and just like after a few weeks of like occasionally playing this game, I was like doing the full game run basically. So yeah, it's a pretty beginner friendly speedrun, I would say.
So you like the longer runs, but I don't think I've ever seen you do an elite license run yet.
No.
Yet.
Yet.
No, I don't have the patience for that. I'll leave that to Trigger.
I mean, we call out elite license as being like the long run, but don't forget that full game exists.
Yeah. So yeah, this game has a lot of extra content. So the full game. What is the current estimate for what time could that be?
I think the record for full game is like 31 hours.
Yeah.
31 hours in a game that doesn't give you any loading screens or any breaks. Has anyone actually ever done one of them, or was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Murray.
Was it you?
Murray, not me.
Yeah, that's incredible. I don't think I could do that. I think I'd fall asleep Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. I believe there's categories for like all billboards and stuff as well, isn't there?
Yeah, that's
all
like
stunt jumps,
collectibles categories.
Yeah, so if you for some reason don't want to do the racing and just like driving around the map, there's categories as well. You'll see the red billboards that we use that are placed in various shortcuts or during the stunt runs. There's a category for all of them. You don't really see them during the gameplay because we spend more time in races. But there is stunt jumps as well, which is, I guess you could just say the more like interesting jumps that the game has dotted around the map, but indicated by the blue flashing like pylon marker things. There's a category for picking all of them up. There's all smashes as well, like those yellow gates that you see. They tend to be used around the map. But there you go, perfect timing there. That's actually incredible. To show you where shortcuts are, there's a category for getting all of them. I'm sure there's other categories as well. Just have a look, see what takes your fancy.
I do want to point out those smashes I went through should be broken by now, but I forgot to do this event earlier, so yeah.
Slacking.
Yeah.
Or even just playing this game casually, I'd recommend it. It's just got really good handling for me personally. You can't hear it now, but the soundtrack is great, even if you do get sick of Guns N' Roses every time you load up a game.
Yeah, this game is very much like designed like a large playground. Like you're not really meant to casually, you know, just do the events and get to the end of the game. Like you're very much meant to just like drive around the map, just mess around with stunt jumps, like try to find collectibles and all that. So the speedrun, even though there's like not a lot of like particular like skips or anything as you would see like in other runs or so, you just save an obscene amount of time by just you know, just doing events rather than messing around.
Even if messing around in this game is pretty fun.
Yeah.
You'll notice as well that the map of the game, we don't, obviously because you're trying to keep it optimized, we only use about half the map in like the more downtowny district. The rest of the map is there from the start of the game. It's just that, well, there's just no need to go for it because events tend to be a bit more spread out due to the fact that the events are placed at a junction. Funnily enough, in a downtown area, you're going to have more junctions than you would at maybe the top of the map, maybe like a wind farm or something. There's not so many there.
Yeah, like there's events are very spread out, and there's also like a lot of like serpentine, so it's very difficult to travel effectively in like the mountain regions. So especially during the early licenses, like basically what we do now. You pretty much stay entirely within the city as you progress through the game, like going into Burnout license, but even there, not a whole lot. You go a little bit into the mountains simply just because you run out of good events to use in the city at some point, but yeah, all the way like throughout A license, we pretty much stay in just entirely within the city, so because it's just much more efficient.
Yeah, it's just the nature of the speedrun, I guess. It's just, as he said, there's just not really any point in going to the nice looking area though, but yeah, it's just not worth it for the speedruns. It's easier just to stay in the more condensed downtown district. Everything's closer, everything's easier to get to. Especially as well because I believe we've mentioned that, or if you haven't mentioned it, you've probably seen by now, but races will finish in one of 8 points around the map, like in a compass, like north, east, southwest. There you go, I remembered 4, go me. And due to just how it is, most of the, a good couple of the locations will be in the downtown area anyway. Or even if they're not in the downtown area, they're easy enough to get to from there. So you kind of want events that end in like the same group. You might notice that at the start of the runs, where we'll tend to do events that are right near where the race is finished, but later on they tend to get more spread out. That's purely because you just can't redo the same thing again until you get a new license.
Okay, it looks like I'm quite far ahead of Trigger right now, but I do want to remind everyone that Trigger is 1 event ahead of me because I forgot one. So it'll even out by the end.
Would that be a moment for a quick donation? Because
yeah,
I
sure.
think it's on point.
Oh.
Demo sends us $250 again.
Nice.
So thanks a lot for that. And he says, this should cover how far I expect Trigger to be behind at this point. Love you guys. The Tempesta sucks. And Trigger, just beat him already. Thank you so very much for that massive donation again. And this also goes to the upgrade to difficult mode for DuckTales, which is now at $660 of 2,000. Thank you. And coming up, just after this run, we will have the new Super Mario Bros. U, which still has the Elevator Skip Showcase incentive open. Make sure to donate to that, as we're still missing $1,005 until the goal. So thank you so very much for all of your wonderful donations, and keep them coming.
Yeah, thank you so much, Demo, for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Also, DuckTales incentive. Nice choice. Good game. Quite different to Burnout, but you know, I'm sure there's a car somewhere in that game.
Yeah, so the full game speedrun community for this game is very small. There's not a lot of active runners for this, but this game had like a pretty much long existing kind of online road rule community. So pretty much the individual levels of this game are mostly based on you know, going down a road, and that is what the game tracks as like a time trial.
That's the bits at the top, if anyone was curious.
Yeah, basically where it says like at the top of the screen where you see the timer tick down sometimes. Like those are the main ILs of this game, and this is where the most the tightest competition is at. So yeah, I can recommend checking out like the individual level leaderboards. This game has way too many ILs, so brace yourself when you go on speedrun.com and click on the IL tab. There's a lot there, a lot to scroll, but there's a lot going on there. Lots of extremely fast people. I can only recommend checking out some of like the fastest time trials. There's some crazy speed tech where you you know, build up a lot of speed going down mountains, and you have like really long run on times, like for just like a short road that you then go down, but you like spend a lot of time like going up the mountain and then taking like the speed from down the entire mountain and carrying it with like drift techniques throughout the city, and then just all that just to set up like a 10-second long road IL is wild what the road rulers do in this game.
Yeah, I'd say it was about what? It has to be at least 100, maybe 200 ILs from when I checked out the other day.
It's ridiculous with like the different game modes this game has. Like there's every single road has an IL.
The online challenges as well.
Yeah, the online challenges, the party mode, then the burning routes where you upgrade the cars, all the bike events. This game has way too many ILs.
Oh, bikes, your favorite. You like the bikes, don't you?
Yeah, the bikes is kind of like an extra game mode they added in the Ultimate Box version of the game. So like I think that was 2009, like a year after the original release.
It's just part of an update, I think.
Yeah, but I think originally it was kind of like a DLC thing. I'm not sure. I was young. I've not paid that much attention at the time. But yeah, the bikes, actually I do think they handle quite nicely, but you know, the gameplay variety in the bike mode I think is a little lacking, because it's literally just time trials across the city map. The driving, like the cornering and such, is quite satisfying, but yeah, the bike run is basically just like you drive back and forth time trials through the map, and there's not too much going on, so definitely prefer the standard cars here.
Can't even boost on a bike either.
No.
It doesn't make any sense, because, okay, yeah, I guess bikes in real life don't boost like that, but do cars in real life boost like this? Like, you know. The one you drive might do. But yeah, there's not much variety in bikes. There's a whole 2 different types of events, and it's the same thing. It's time trials at day and time trials at night. There's no stunt runs. I mean, road rage is, I think, quite good, but I suppose a road rage on a bike is just road rash.
No, yeah, it's just...
That's just a game, that's a different game entirely.
what I tried to do there, were like after hitting the finish line to angle the car towards the gas station, which fills up your boost. And if you do that, if you hit that while going through the event finish cutscene, you actually get like a boost, and it launches you really far when it respawns you after the cutscene, and you cut down a lot of travel time. But unfortunately, I smacked right into the wall of the gas station.
Yeah, talking about bikes and their bikiness, they were going to add quite a few interesting concepts to this game that unfortunately never came to fruition. One of them was planes, I'm pretty sure. I don't know how that would work. I don't like how would a carver's plane work. The plane's just going to win, it could fly.
I mean, if everyone has planes, they all can fly and they're all going to win.
Unless they were on the ground, planes on the ground maybe.
Yeah, that was like a concept I think they had in mind when they first like put ideas for this game together. It's never got really far as I know.
From what I remember, but yeah, there's footage of it. It's like this awful video from like 2009, 240p quality video.
This in Crash TV?
Yeah, I believe it was Crash TV, yeah, which was like a kind of... So it's kind of like a podcast type thing, where like small videos showing off stuff. I remember back in the day reading an article that they were going to include other things, like an idea that they had for the game was that instead of Paradise City being a big, just a big landmass, they had ideas of it was just going to be smaller islands that you could get to with boats, I believe. I don't know how true that is, but it would have been an interesting concept. One idea of I'm pretty sure they actually got into like slightly further past the concept phase was the moon. Like, I don't think they got that far into it, but yeah, Burnout on the moon would be quite good. Although trying to do a road rage would be slightly annoying because you try and hit someone, then go about flying off really far. Also, there'd be nothing you could hit. There's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no cities on the moon.
As far as you are aware.
Yeah, I would like to put out there I've not actually been to the moon. If anyone has been to the moon and can confirm that there's Burnout cars up there, then yeah, feel free to get in touch. Gonna go for the takedown.
Unfortunately, yes, that was not planned. Actually, but
couldn't resist, eh?
But since we're finishing the run after this license, not actually going to lose that much time. If you do a longer run, it's quite annoying because you get like an extra like 10-15 second cutscene in the junkyard next time you switch cars. So you want to avoid just taking down cars at random. But in this situation, it was not that bad.
It's fun, but it's not worth it in the speed run. Like if you do it casually, you take down a lot of cars, and then you go to the junkyard after a while. It can take a while, as we saw earlier. It does like showing you the dropping from the sky thing.
Also, speaking of with what we mentioned now, the bikes. Speaking of extra content in this game, there's also a separate game mode called Big Surf Island. Dudes here actually used to run that. He used to have the record in that actually. Yeah, it's basically like a little extra island with their own event types. They're more like checkpoint based, so they're more on a fixed route than these here, just simply because the island is more condensed. So you can't just say like drive from one side of the island to the other, because that would be done in 10 seconds. But on those you actually like drive around the island and like laps and such a couple times.
Nice flip.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, the island is the Big Surf Island is pretty tight with everything, and it's a lot more vertical based. So there's a lot of like really cool big jumps over there. I can recommend checking that out. Also, I believe there was a run at GDQ by Sawtooth, who has also the record for Big Surf Island currently. Really cool run. Can definitely recommend checking out that other category. So shout out to Sawtooth, yeah, and Burn and Rubber as well. Also really good Big Surf Island runner.
Yeah, you'll see when we start an event and it zooms out the map, you'll probably be able to see the island on the right hand side if you're just curious as to what it looks like. And also the checkpoint races. It's kind of a shame we didn't add them into the base game, because you can play them online and they're quite fun. We just decided, nah, you know, we're not going to bother adding them. I don't know if it's just something they planned, never added into the main game, but yeah, they're quite fun for, like, considering it's mainly the same events, the variety you get. Yeah, there you can see on the right hand side. You see it's rather squiggly looking, there's not much of the straight roads, really.
Race northeast to the Coast Guard HQ.
There you go, he's going through the park again. As I'm sure you probably noticed, go through the park quite a lot. Purely because if the game wants you to start from this bit of the map and you're trying to go to this side of the map, you need something to go from there, and that's what the park gives. Basically, just lets you do that because it's just a diagonal bit. It's got both ways. You can even go up and down, so it's quite handy just for if there's no roads nearby, but maybe you can use that to sort yourself out. Oh, okay. I was gonna mention the AI doesn't seem to be doing much, but I just drove into it something.
I guess also like a little bit about the history of the game. So when I picked this up as a speed game first, like we had I think at that point the only runner who's ever like worked on like optimizing the standard like main game. So like not Big Surf Island, not bikes. The only runner at that point was a runner by Missing You, who had already done the route, and he had a time of 2:41. So when I and then Trigger also learned the game, we used Missing You's route. As we got better, we like did some couple tweaks on the route as well. Made some changes, mainly rerouting the late game a lot. And I first beat Missing You with like a time of 2:39, I think, and then Trigger beat me and pushed it down by like another 4 minutes. And then we left the game for a while, and we thought everything would be all right. And then a demo came along and ruined everything for us. And he introduced like a lot of like new ideas to the routing, which led me to rethink a lot of the ideas I was using in my route before, and add in a lot of new stuff. A lot of what we do right now is still kind of based on like the old route, but with a lot of of demos, new ideas like mixed in, and a couple of extra stuff as well. So yeah, that was I think was that last year, 2021 something. So yes, that's roughly the history of single segment runs for this game. Also, right now I'm doing my extra event that I'm doing to compensate for doing my own route wrong. So it's
Hey, nice. Yeah, for a game as simple as it may look, the routing, I've never personally done the routing because, well, yeah, I think that's outside my skill set, rerouting this damn thing, but...
I mean, if you don't know, if you've never tried it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like there's tends to be quite a lot of rerouting. Just sometimes you might think of a route in a race, or a way to do a road rage, or a new location for a stunt run someone might not have considered before. Oh yeah, it's looking pretty close, getting towards the end.
Yeah, but yeah, like with the way I'm doing like spontaneous rerouting here to cover for my mistakes, and also like with how the route has changed in the past. The important thing to keep in mind for this game is that there is like infinite possibilities for rerouting this, and we will likely never have like an absolute perfect route. So anyone who comes in and thinks they are good at puzzling stuff together, always happy to hear cool new ideas. Maybe you can bring something to the table that completely freshes up things, some completely new way of using an event. There's like infinite possibilities with routing here. And we've changed a lot around in the past. There were literally like times where we changed the route like every day, and we constantly had to clear out our splits and then always run against blank splits because we would constantly change our route. It stayed pretty much as it is right now for a little while because I got lazy. But it went through a lot of changes, and there's a lot of possibilities for improvements here. I'm sure that people smarter than me might think of at some point. But yeah, I'm actually coming up to the final race here for me. I hope if I didn't miss something again, I think I should be good.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Would be funny if you missed something, though. That'd be.
No, it would not. would not like that, in fact.
Oh, what a twist that would
no,
be.
we're good. We're good. One event left. Okay. So yeah, we have one final race here to do. So this is actually
This got really close at the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually an event I picked for the end of this route because this is an event. If we do the full Burnout license, we would restart on that one and then redo it again as the license had cleared. So this is a very short event, but it's kind of an awkward spot to get to. And basically, that would, you know, in the upcoming license would skip driving to it and still having the benefit of a short race. So ideally, with the routing, you want to end a license with a short event that is in an awkward to get to spot, because then you can benefit from the short event, but don't have to drive to it. But since we're ending now, it's just kind of here for, you know, some events got to be at the end. And yeah, coming up to the end here. Gotta hit the big button finally.
Hey, who gets the honor of hitting the big button?
I'm so excited to hit this button. I've always wanted to do this.
It's all he's been talking about since he got here.
Let's go.
GG.
Oh, it's still going, I think.
No, it's the split on my screen is
Oh, okay.
no, it's done. Wow, that was still under 120. How did that work?
Hey, nice.
That is a really solid time. Like with everything that went wrong, we still got under 120. That is impressive. I thought we were gonna like get close to like an estimate or something with how much like on the fly rerouting we had to do.
Yeah.
But all things considered, I think that went pretty well.
Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed watching. This is my first time doing commentary on ESA, so I hope my various ramblings weren't too annoying to listen to.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Yeah, always good to have like another person in the mix doing, you know, adding more commentary, because we can't think of everything by ourselves. So yeah, very happy you were here and help us. Thank you, Trigger, for racing me.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, ESA, for allowing us to do this run here. Anything else you want to say for a closer, either of you?
I think you've said it all.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks to these2 for putting up with me for about an hour and 19, and thanks to everyone watching.
Thank you very much, guys, for this wonderful run, and we will see you soon right after this intermission. Don't go away. We'll be there for New Super Mario Bros. U.